Hello. So this might have a wee bit of crackling, hopefully not. The arm that my mic goes into, not the screw, the bolt, the thing that you screw onto the desk, has the threading, doesn't thread. Listen, that's as technical as you're going to get for me. So I'm holding my mic tonight. Hold up, wait a minute. Forgot to shut the door. Oh, we're starting off good, aren't we? So, how is everyone? Are we glad we're in February? I'm just glad the weather is starting to, the temperature's starting to kind of rise a wee bit. We're seeing a wee bit more sunshine. Still freezing cold, but there's not so much ice, snow. I mean, I don't think we really had snow this year. Did we have any? I don't even think so. We had many storms, didn't we? My life's just one big storm sometimes, but that's another story. So, what has everybody been up to? I've been getting into trouble almost daily from, if not one, both boys. We all know that I'm trying to move house and I can't find a house to move to. Luckily, I don't have a time scale, but I'm buying stuff for a house I don't have. And they keep saying to me, where are you going to put all this? Why are you buying stuff for a house you've not even got? I'm like, you've got to be prepared. Preparation is key, because see, when we find a house, we can just say, listen, I can move in whenever you can give me the keys, and we'll have everything to go, because the majority of the furniture that we've got now we're not taking with us. I can't remember getting into that. That's a whole other ball game, but I think I might have spoke about it slightly on a previous episode. It just annoys me. I get angry. Anyway, we might talk about it another day, we might not. I'm hormonal this week, so I don't think it's best for me to talk about anything negative, because negativity in a female with hormones is not a very good combination. But at the same time, it's making me a lot of crap, which it always does. But today's been a bad day, and I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm trying to do it sensibly, because if anybody knows, I've had severe eating disorder in the past, so I've got to be very careful when it comes to my weight, because the minute it gets in my head, then it's game over to an extent. So yeah, I'm trying to lose weight without trying to lose weight. Listen, if you're in my brain, you'll know what I mean by that. So I'm just trying to be, I mean, I eat relatively healthy anyway, I've said that before, but I think part it's an age thing. You're getting to that menopausal, I was going to say something there, but I might offend people. I seem to offend everybody, I think, or everybody close to me. So here's the thing. Did anybody listen to the new podcast I brought out last week? Me and Danielle brought out together. That was a riot. Danielle decided before we'd recorded that she was going to go on holiday, and we were recording from, well, she was recording from her hotel room. So yeah, it didn't go, it was good, it was funny, and so far everybody's enjoyed it, and I've had tears streaming down my face when I was recording, and then when I was editing, it took me about 5 times longer than it should have to edit, because I was wetting my pants, my tenor lady. I was crying tears I couldn't see. But yeah, we got it out in time. I say we, me. So if you want to have a giggle at our expense for being just daft, then you can go and watch it or listen. It's called Gossip with Friends podcast, and it's just 2 daft pals having a laugh. Nothing serious, unlike this one, although we try not to be too serious on here either. So, who done dry January? Who succeeded? Who decided not to quite go to the final hurdle? We don't say fail here, we say we tried. there's no such thing as failure, because as long as you try, that's all you can do. I do dry every day because I don't drink. That sounded wrong, didn't it, until I told you I don't drink. Yeah, I don't drink. Very rarely. I might have, if it's a very, no, that's a pure lie. I just don't drink. I used to, maybe at birthday or Christmas or New Year or whatever, I maybe have one, but now I just don't even drink at all. I can't be bothered with it. I've never been one that's needed a drink to enjoy myself, and I've never been a house drinker. I was very much a binge drinker. I'll openly admit that, especially in my teenage years and my 20s, early 20s. I was bad, and I think if I never had my kids when I did, it could have went one of many ways, and none of them were good. So that was a blessing. But yeah, drinking's just doesn't appeal to me anymore. And I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know if as you get older sometimes, or as your life goes in a different direction. I don't know what it is. I just can't be bothered. I'm at that age where I just can't be bothered waiting anymore. I'm like quite happy to just sit in my pyjamas and be nice and cosy. All I want now is a new house. I don't want much. Just a nice bigger house that isn't killing us off. Don't want to be paying somebody to be killing me off, you know. Read between the lines and you might understand what I mean. So yes, I am busy trying to be busy with work. That's a task in itself, because I've got a million and one other things I'm doing as well. So started the podcast with Danielle last week, got this podcast, so this one obviously goes out Wednesday night, the one with Danielle goes out on a Saturday. I was supposed to start my business podcast a couple of weeks ago. As you all know, we're rebranding. I had to stop for a bit. I had that stomach bug, sickness bug, or whatever kind of bug you want to call it. That went on for nearly 2 weeks, and I'm still not 100% right for that either. A few other health issues going on now as well. So everything's on pause, on hold, on whatever you want to call it. The website was getting worked on. It hasn't the last week or so. It's just trying to finalise. I mean, the majority of things sitting there ready to go. It's trying to finalise the finer details. Does that make sense? We all know sometimes Aileen's brain just starts to slow down. And today might be one of them, because I've been run ragged all day. I've been run ragged the last couple of days. I was actually in my bed for 8:30 last night because I was so tired I could not keep my eyes open any longer. I took my youngest for an interview with college. So that went well. He just needs to get past one subject, and he can go to that course. Otherwise, he's already been accepted for 2 other courses anyway, so regardless he'll be going to college, which he's excited about. But yeah, that's as exciting as my personal life gets. Work life, we're working on the work life. Health wise, we're still waiting for all these appointments to come through. See, whoever says 40's the new 30, don't believe them. I'm hoping 50 is better. I mean, I've still got quite a few years to get to 50, and I'm not trying to wish my life away. But when I started heading towards 40, but definitely when I hit 40, I've had every ache and pain. Well, I mean, already had aches and pains, that's a lie. I've had aches and pains since I was in my 20s, but nothing's working the way it should. Can that rectify itself as you get older? I ain't no doctor. Anyway, it is what it is. We just need to make do with what does work, and what doesn't work, we just, I don't know, figure that one out as we go. Listen, life is a roller coaster, just gotta ride it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. That wasn't a pun. That's not. Oh dear, I get myself into some situations. So what we're talking about today? Today I am talking about, I don't know, did we cover this a couple of weeks ago? We might have touched on it. Obviously I've just said that I took my son to a college interview yesterday. So he's just starting off in life. My older son, starting off in adult life, should I say. The big bad world, as some people will call it. It's actually a big exciting world. You just need to look through it through more positive eyes. My older son, he's got his career. He's doing well and keeps chopping and changing his mind about what direction his career's going in. But the same career, just what path he's going to go down with, you just leave him to it, because he's very ADHD. And things can change every 30 seconds with him. So we are so he's fine. He's working, he enjoys work. He's one of the ones that he'd rather be in work than have a day off. He takes 2 weeks off holiday, and if he's not actually away on holiday, he goes into his work just to see people and just to, I think, make sure his job's still there. I don't know why he does it. He's the only person I know that goes into their work on their day off. I think quite a few of the boys do it in there, mind you, but when I was that age, if I had a day off, there was not a chance in hell that you would see me in work. I'd be avoiding the place like the plague. Anyway, clearly I don't think he actually goes in and does any work. I think that would be asking a wee bit much of him. I think he's just going to make sure the building's still standing and that he's still got a job, and just making sure his tools, his pride and joy, his tools are still where they're meant to be, you know. I don't understand it at all. I mean, he's only in his 20s. I'm like, why are you getting into your work? And he's like, I'm bored. Well, there's plenty of things you could do that make you unbored. Do you want to go and do the dishes, put a washing on, clean the bathroom? Anything that means I don't need to do it? No? Okay. So yeah, he does that. He enjoys his work. He gets on really well. He's got really good pals in his work as well. So that's a bonus as well. They all get on really well. So the younger one, he's just starting out, and it's going to be a bit more difficult for him, obviously. Why did we go on this subject? Yeah, so he's just starting out, but like I said, you've got one just starting, you've got one who's in, got his career, but keeps thinking, right, how can I tweak this career a wee bit? How can I go down a different path, or how can I do something more exciting, or whatever it might be? Because obviously staying stagnant for too long can get boring. You can get sick of the sight, or you can get sick of what you're doing. So when is the best time to consider your career path? When are you too old to change your career? Is there a cut-off point for retraining or going to college or going to university? No, there isn't. There is no right time. There is there is no cut-off point. There is not a point where you can say, oh, I can't go for a promotion because I'm too old. I get, you might think, society might think that. Who's society to judge you? Who are any of us to judge anybody? You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. It's about your mindset and not other people's opinions. We sometimes can say to ourselves, we're too old, because that's the easy option. That's the easy option to get us out of doing what we want to do, or facing up to what we need to do or what we want to do. Say, making excuses, oh, the kids this, the kids that, whatever. There's nothing that you can't do. Oh, that's a song, isn't it? What was it? There's nothing I won't do. Anything you want me to, I can't take nights of you. What song was that again? That was for 1994, 95. 95, 94, I think. What age would I have been? I think it was 93 or 94. Just burst into a wee song there. I'm quite good at that, aren't I? I'm not saying I'm good at singing, but do you remember I said to you a few weeks ago, I can always come up with a song when we're on a topic, or when I just need to say a word and I can come up with a song. There you go. I've proved my point yet again, because I'm always right. That's a female thing, isn't it? I'm always right. I say it to everybody, mainly males. Told you I was alright. I told you I was right. Quite enjoy saying that. Sounds good. Doesn't happen very often. Anyway, back to life, back to reality. Sorry, I'll stop singing, I promise, but I've not been able to sing all day because I've not really been round about music. So, when it comes to your career, or when it comes to anything in life, nobody can tell you what's the right time and what's the wrong time. Only you can decide that. Sometimes taking the chance is the right time. Sometimes just saying, right, that's it, I'm going to do it now. This is it. This is the time I'm doing it. Because you can constantly put yourself off something. And I'm not even just talking about work or studying. Anything in life. Like, some people will say, when's the right time to have a baby? What's the right age to get married? When should I buy a house? What time of year is the best time to go on holiday? All these different things, but the answer's going to be different for everybody. The answer is when you feel is the right time, or when you decide to try, or when you decide to go for it. And sometimes we do need wee pep talks, either from ourselves, because yes, you can give yourself a pep talk. I argue with myself all the time. It's fine. It's okay, don't worry. Yeah, sometimes we need a wee pep talk just to remind us that you can do something. If you put your mind to something and you put your all into it, and I don't mean to the point where you burn yourself out, I just mean as much as you can do possible, try your hardest, then you could achieve whatever you want to achieve. Who knew I'd be where I am? Who knew I could be responsible for a business or 10? If you knew me, I've said it before, I've always wanted to be in business. I've always wanted my own business from I was like 17, 18, something like that. I think I was 18. So I've always wanted my own business, but I was very much a party animal back then. There was no chance it was happening at that point. Then obviously I fell pregnant young, and my everything went into my kids. Then I was very sick mentally. So there was always something, and then at some point you just have to say, I need to try it. I'm never going to try if I constantly make excuses. And I think we just get a wee light bulb moment or a reality check sometimes. Say for example, myself. So I was working. I don't know what's happening. My earphones aren't staying on. Wait a minute. I think that's us. I was working full time for an insurance company, and then I had to go off long term sick. I'd been in for a minor operation, but they thought it was going to be minor, a few complications, whatever. And then my mental health took another dip, so I was off with my mental health. And after a short period of time, they told me, basically threatened that they were going to pay me off, if you want to put it like that, sack you, whatever it may be, if I couldn't give them a date. Now, anybody who does struggle with their mental health will know that if somebody says anything to you negatively or in a threatening manner, anything like that, you don't think about, well, actually I've got rights. You just think fight or flight, and I ran away in a sense. I handed in my notice. After a month I just thought, right, you know what, I can't have this hanging over my head anymore. Handed in my notice, and then with my last wage set up my first business. So I suppose to an extent that gave me the kick up the bum that I needed to go in the direction I wanted to go. That business worked for me at the time, but then obviously my health wasn't great years down the line, so I knew I had to retrain. So I retrained, and then what age, 41ish, 41, 40, 42, 40, I don't know, something along the lines, I started up my therapy business. Then knew I didn't just want to be a counsellor or a coach or whatever. Knew I wanted a bit more than that, other stuff going on. Podcast, I've always been interested in podcasts, so knew I did want a podcast, but didn't really know what. I knew I wanted it to tie in with my business, but I didn't know how to get it started or anything like that. So kind of researched it, looked into it, spoke to a few professionals who do all these kind of things, and a lot of it came down to confidence and timing. So it being, again, the light bulb moment. And it was, so that went on for about 2.5 years maybe. Then I think it was March this year, I was like, no, that's right, you just need to do it. So I was supposed to start April, I think it was the end of April or the start of May. I was supposed to start this one. Then my mum had a few strokes, so it kind of got put back. Then obviously it started, and then it took a bit of a turn after the first one, but that was fine. So everything fell into place eventually. Just maybe not the route I would have chosen to take, but everything in life happens for a reason, and everything that happens gets you to your destination, hopefully, that you want to be in. And so I've had this podcast going since June, I can't remember the exact date, beginning of June I think it was, and I love doing my podcast. I love doing my therapy business as well. I love helping all my clients, or even if you're not a client, I like giving advice or pointing people in the right direction, just knowing that people are going to get the support and the help that they need, or even just get some questions answered for themselves. Love all that, and it's about everybody coming together as well. So because I enjoy doing this so much, and me and Danielle clearly can talk, and we've always kind of just went through everything together, I suppose, in a sense. So I said to her, why don't we start one up that's a bit more fun, a bit more relaxed? So then that started last week, and I wanted another one obviously this one's more about mental health, but because I do coaching and help businesses as well, I wanted something that's going to help them, and I didn't want it all to be in the one podcast, because what's the point in me talking about, so this started as mental health, so what's the point in me talking about business coaching and things like that, and this when people are coming to listen about mental health? Does that make sense? So hence why then I decided, right, I'll do a third one, which will be primarily about business and getting some sort of coaching or whatever through that. But who would have thought that at 45-year-old I would just be bringing out, well, 44, just coming up in 44 when I brought coming up in 45 when I brought out the first one, and then the other two when I was 45, starting a business up in my 40s, and now I feel as if I'm where I should always have been. But that's not to say that I should have done this a long time ago, because if I'd done this 15, 20 years ago, it might not have been the right time, it might not have worked for me, so maybe this is the right time. So don't ever think what if, or I wish I'd done that. Even like regrets, there's no point in having any regrets in your life, because whether it was the right choice or you think it's the wrong choice, it's got you to where you are just now. If you would have changed one thing in your past, you maybe not be where you are. And some people might think it'd be a good thing if I'm not where I am, but there could be better for you in the future. I've had some horrendous things happen to me in my past that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, but at the same time, And it's that whole cliche, it's made me a bit stronger. It didn't make me strong at the time. It nearly broke me quite a few times, but it's gave me life lessons that I can now take into my coaching and my therapy business. I can see things through eyes that some other people can't see. I can feel the pain that some people are feeling because I've maybe endured something similar. All our experiences will be different, but we can help each other. So if you think that you want to start a new career, or if you think that you want to go back into education, or maybe you want to retire early, maybe you want to move abroad, maybe you thought it's too late for you to start a family, but is it too late? I mean, only you can decide that. I can't decide that for you. So there's many things in life that we all think at the time is not right, or it's too late, or it's this, or it's that. But is it? In reality, is it? Or is it you telling yourself, or is it society telling you, that? Because if it's society telling you, they're not living your life. They can't make the decisions for you. If it's you telling you that, is it a true answer, or is it a confidence thing? It's food for thought, isn't it? And there's many ways that you can get help to come to the decision yourself. Now, you can help yourself. You don't need to get another person's opinion. You don't need to get another person's support. You can help yourself by sitting jotting things down in your notebook or in your notes on your phone or whatever else. I mean, I say notebook because I'm very old. We've established that. My sons tell me daily. And I'm still very old school, where I like paper and pen. I like to write things down. Danielle was on the phone to me the other day and she's like, I've wrote in my notes on my phone, and I'm like, I've got a notepad sitting on my desk, I write my notes in. And she's only a few years younger than me, but that's the difference a few years can make of your mindset. But yeah, you can be writing things down, you could be looking into things yourself, asking other people of a similar age that have maybe took that leap. And you want to go for promotion, but you think the younger ones are going to get it over you. Why do you think that? Do you think purely because of your age, or do you think it's because they've got more experience? Because if you think it's purely because of your age, listen, there's discrimination laws out there for a reason. You can't be discriminated against for your age. Employment laws, there's lots of things to protect you. So if you have the same experience, or if you have more experience, more knowledge, you go for that promotion. And if you don't get it, without being a bit arsey, ask why you didn't get it, ask for feedback, because it might just be that the other person interviewed better than you. They maybe had a bit more knowledge about one topic than you did. Just ask for feedback, because feedback can be a good thing for if you decide to try again later down the line. If you're thinking about a different career, sit and think about, right, okay, so how many days a week do I want to work? Do I want to work weekends? Do I not want to work weekends? Is there a job that I have been so passionate about in the past but never had the opportunity? Is there something that you're exceptionally good at? Some people are good with numbers, some people are good with words, some people are good with singing, some people are good with people, other people don't like people. You've got to take all these things into consideration, because if you're having to work with the general public very closely on a daily basis, you have to semi-like people. I'm not saying you have to love them, but you need to like them of some point. You need to like them and be nice to them. You can't just be rude to your clients and your customers. That might work when you're employed. It doesn't work when you're self-employed, unfortunately. You have to be disciplined, because nobody's going to pay you a wage apart from you, so you need to be working to get money, to pay your bills, put a roof over your head, clothe yourself, feed the kids. So everything's doable as long as you put the work in, you put the effort in, and you work on your confidence if you're lacking confidence. And obviously we talk about counselling all the time, and yeah, counselling's good for certain situations, but when it's going forward in life and things like that, and it's not actually dealing past situations, obviously you might be dealing with confidence which is from your past, but that's where life coaching comes into it. That's where life coaching can be phenomenal in helping you have the future that you've been dreaming of for such a long time. We help you get to the point of where you want to be. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't do the work for you. You still have to put the work in. But we guide you. We guide you in the right direction. We help you see things that you maybe don't see. We help with your confidence. Listen, whatever it is you're struggling with to move you forward, then I would 100% look into life coaching to help you. And nobody's saying you have to do it for months and months and months or weeks or anything like that. If you get the right coach, they'll tell you when you're ready to, I suppose if you want to say, go spread your wings and do what you want to do. Nobody should be keeping you on any longer than you need to be there. A bit like if you've got a driving instructor, your driving instructor should be able to tell you when you're ready to sit your test. If you know that you're ready and they're not telling you, they're only there for the money. Same with life coaching. If you know that you're at the point where you've come on leaps and bounds, you're at the point where you can go and enjoy your life and do what it was that you initially came to your life coach about. If they're not telling you you're ready for that, but you know, you can quite easily stop your appointments. Just be mindful of when you are ready and make sure you're not being kept on for too long. And I'm not saying there is any coaches out there like that, but you just have to have your wits about you with everything in life, because we hear stories all the time, don't we, about, like I just said, driving instructors. When I had a terrible time with driving instructors. So my first driving instructor, I don't know if I should be telling you this. I mean, everybody in my area knows about this, I think. My first driving instructor was an absolute a-hole. He was, I mean, bearing in mind this was in the 90s, so a lot of men were kind of creepy back then, but he was a type of driving instructor who would take a female on a route where you would go over, like speed bumps and things, and watch things get up and down. He would try and be a bit handsy, I suppose. I think he had quite a few beatings, to be fair, for some of the stuff. He punched me in one of my lessons. I'll tell you that. Hold on, my earphones are falling off again. Bear in mind I was only learning how to drive, right, so I couldn't drive yet. And I think it was lesson number 7 maybe. No, I know you should know a lot of things, right, but I was very flustered. He took me on a route I'd never been on before, and we were sitting at a junction at the lights, and he was pressurising me, and it was hurry up. So I went to, what did I press? I think I thought I was pressing the clutch and the accelerator to get my biting point, but I think I was pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time, so he punched me and started shouting about how I was going to blow up his engine. Oh, telling you, my boyfriend at the time and whatever, they weren't happy. They didn't like this guy to start with anyway. A few of our friends had a bit of a time with him, but I didn't realise that at the time. It's funny how you don't hear everybody else's experience until after your experience. So that put me off driving for a year. I had booked a block of 10 lessons with him, and I left after something like 7, and he got to keep that money. And then it put me off, so for about a year I didn't drive. Then went to my second instructor, and she was absolutely lovely. But when we started talking about who my first instructor was, she was like, oh my god, the amount of stories I hear about her. She says, I actually drove by him one day. He had a a student in his car, and he told them to pull over at the side of the road. He's standing at the side of the road doing star jumps. Now, without being judgy, he wasn't exactly a fitness freak. Okay? We'll just say that. I think he genuinely was just an a-hole. So, got my second instructor and passed after, I don't even think it was 20 lessons, I think it was less than that. Maybe 10, 15 lessons. She was brilliant, no. And she done that with everybody. She passed everybody within 20 lessons. So she had a really good pass rate. So you knew she wasn't after you for money. But then one of my other friends was with a driving instructor. And I swear he had her there for God knows how long. And she could have passed her test many times over, the length of time he had her with. And a couple of the girls went with him. I think because he was an older man, they all felt safer with him. But he was an older man, but I think he used that to his advantage, and everybody felt sorry for him and just kept taking lessons. So yeah, just be careful that people aren't just taking your money. And I don't just mean the life coaches, I don't mean that at all, I mean just with anything in general, because we hear all the time about scams, don't we? People coming to your door and saying, oh, do you want to buy this? And there's a government, what do you call it, grant going, and you say, aye, alright. And then the next thing you know, you're spending $6,000. When somebody tells you there's a government grant, you'd kind of think that a lot of it, the biggest chunk of it's going to be covered. But the majority of the time there isn't a government grant. They kid you on to get in the door, and then they make it look as if they're discounting a government grant. But actually what they're telling you is the price that it should have been all along. There's so many scams like that. I used to work for, I think I went in for 2 shifts and never went back again. And I got my pal a job with them as well. And she lasted, I think, a week. And then she left. And it was supposed to be a telesales place. Literally, we were in this room. It wasn't even I wouldn't even have described it as an office. It was almost looked like an old school room, but it not as big as that, like a fraction of the size. You sat, there was, I think, half a dozen of us, maybe 10 of us, sitting in this room with a phone each, and we get a phone book. Who remembers a phone book? If you don't know what a phone book is because you're a lot younger than me, then it's basically what it says. It was a book, and it had everybody's name that was in the, because you could be ex-directory, which means you wouldn't be in his phone book, but everybody that lived in that area's name, address and phone number was in this book. Who used the phone book to stalk a guy or a woman, a female or a male that they fancied. We've all done it. Not to stalk them, but to get their phone number, to try and get them to like you as much as you like them. So a phone book had everybody's name and number, and then so we all get this phone book thrown at us, and we had to start at A and work our way through the book. It wasn't even that we get a letter each. We all had to start from the start of the book, work our way through to the end. One of the people that I'd phoned, and by the way, this isn't how telesales works, so don't be put off by this story. I've worked in telesales after that, and it definitely doesn't look like that. So we would phone up people, and if they were willing to get one of the agents to come out and talk through everything with them, then we would make the appointment. So that was fine. And then one of the guys that I phoned, he actually he's like, listen hen, he says, you sound like a nice girl, but just to let you know, this is about the third phone call I've had this week. He said, I'd advise you to find a better job, get a different employer, whatever. So I think after that I just thought, nah, this isn't for me. I'm not annoying people, because that's not me. It's not in me to scam people or whatever else. And anyway, I think it turned out that was a scam. Me and my pal never ever got a single penny. It cost me an absolute fortune. I was a single parent, had to get somebody to watch my son while I went to this job. I had to pay something like £20 a day for parking because I couldn't even get a bus anywhere near. Oh, it was an absolute shambles. Anyway, you live and you learn, don't you? And it's just another story to tell about your life lessons. We all learn. I've had some crackers of jobs, but do you know, every job I've been in, regardless of how much I've hated the job, there's always been something I've liked about it, whether it be the people I work with or the people, like the customers or something like that. I've always took a positive away for every job. I think I was going to say there's only one job I didn't. I was kind of sexually, not assaulted, not abused. I don't even know how to describe it. But anyway, I'll tell you about that in another one. But even for that job, I suppose that you always learn something. So I learned to be very careful of pervy men. Again, it was the 90s. Not that that's an excuse, but it was very common that not just women, men as well, were sexualised in certain ways. I was 16 at the time. Daft, didn't realise what was going on. And yeah, it's not until later in life and you sit and you think, if that happened now, nah, I'm not even going to say what I would do, because no, don't want to get myself into trouble. Listen, I can get myself into trouble without anybody trying to get me into trouble. We all know this. And this is the worry me and Danielle have got about our other podcast is, yeah, we need to be careful what we're saying sometimes, I think. But no, just keep your wits about you when you're doing anything. When you're making any choices in life, keep your wits about you. And I don't just mean females, males as well. We can all be manipulated or scammed, whatever. We can all be, what's the word I'm looking for? Taken for a ride. Not going to sing my roller coaster song again, don't you worry about that. So yeah, if you want to try and get your confidence up, sorry, I had a wee bit of a brain fog there. If you want to get your confidence up, or even if you want to do practice interviews, things like that, life coaching can help with all this. Maybe not all life coaches might not offer it. You could get workplace coaches that might be able to help you that. Like I obviously have life coaching, business coaching, wellness coaching, so there's a lot of scope there for me to help people with different that come to me for different reasons. But yeah, if you do want to even speak to me about it, how a life coach can help, even if you don't want to go ahead with an appointment with me, you're very welcome to send me a message and I can contact you, or we can arrange for a phone call or a Zoom call and see what it is you're needing and point you in the right direction or get you booked in or whatever it might be. I think what I need is a brain transplant. Could you imagine? Whose brain would I want? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be too intelligent, because I don't want people to think, oh, look at her, she was thick as pig and now thinks she's a scientist or something. I mean, are scientists the most intelligent people? I don't know. But they're definitely more intelligent than me sometimes. Not all the time, because I might have more knowledge about something that they don't. And don't laugh at that. There will be something that I know that somebody doesn't know. I don't know who that somebody might be, but there will be. One of these days. Listen, I've always said, as long as I can help people, and as long as I don't lose my voice, I'll be absolutely fine in life. When I was taking my son to his college interview yesterday, we have a running joke that I talk too much. I mean, I don't know where it gets that for. And whenever we go anywhere, he always says to me, you better not talk to anybody. Don't you be stand talking to anybody. But I think I've told you before, I'm not rude. And if somebody wants to talk to me first, I will continue that conversation and I'll get into trouble for it later. That's absolutely fine. I'm fine with that. I'll converse with anybody that wants to have a wee conversation with me. So his wee pal was going for a interview at the same college for the same course. So we're picking him up. And I've only ever met the wee boy a couple of times, but never really had a proper conversation with him. And he talked and I just thought it was brilliant, because my boys don't talk an awful lot unless they're in the mood. So I'm killing myself laughing in the car because this wee boy, but I think partly he was nervous obviously about his interview, and maybe a bit nervous because he was in the car with me. He's never been in the car with me before, and my youngest, he was laughing away as well and talking. Then I was waiting about for them in town, met up with them after their interview, took them to McDonald's, whatever, took them for something to eat, and then dropped the wee boy home again. And he got out the car and I was like, I can't believe you two are pals. And he says, how? I says, he can fair talk, can't he? I says, you always give me into trouble for how much I talk. I says, and look at him, he's Mr. Chatty McChatty. And he's like, Mummy doesn't normally talk that much. I was like, all right, okay, it must have been nerves. Either that, or he just knows my son doesn't like to talk, and he's like, I better not talk too much in front of him, he might get me into trouble like he does with his mum. Which, rude. Just rude. Sorry, don't know what's going on with me here. I'm getting tangled. Hold up. Wait a minute. I feel a bit breathless. Right, so we've established I had that sickness bug, but I feel as if there's just something lingering in my chest. I'm probably just being a hypochondriac now, but listen, it's probably about the only thing I'm good at. I'm only joking. So yes, that is my food for thought this week. If there's something that you want to do, do not let anybody or anything or your confidence stop you. Do not let you thinking your age is going to stop you, because your age is not going to stop you. The only person that is stopping you is you in your head, your thoughts. You can do anything you want to. I mean, obviously there's going to be some things you can't do, because body clocks and all that, whatever, there may just be things that are just a wee bit out with a life coach's remit. Just saying, just in case you come to me and you're like 90 and you say I want to have a baby, I can't help you with that one. I've been well warned by my oldest that I've not to have any more because I'm at that age. He's warned me. The only reason we had this conversation is because a couple of my friends had babies later in life, but their oldest kids or their only kids were like in their 20s at the time. So he was having a meltdown. He was like, you better not. And now he's trying to say to me, you're too old for it. And I was like, who is? Do not test me on this one, my child, because I don't think Mother Nature's quite finished there yet. I could prove you wrong. And he's like, don't you dare. Panic stations. Anyway, that is... But no, not to be rude, but if you are 90 and you want to have a baby naturally, I can't help with that. I mean, at the minute, I can't even help myself have one naturally, even if I wanted to, because I only have one half of what's needed. The other half, don't even know what that is anymore. Just saying. So, who is going to sit down and have a wee look at where they're at, where they want to be? What's 2025 looking at for you? Are you happy with the life that you're living? And if you are, fantastic. This isn't a podcast, this isn't an episode, to say, oh, we're in a new year, everybody needs to change everything they're doing and you need to make your life so much better, blah blah blah, because most of us are quite happy with our life. There's just going to be a certain percentage of people that have, and it's not just because we're in the new year, it's been something that's been sitting either at the back or the front of their mind for a very long time, and they just need that wee push, or they just don't know whether the timing's right, or whether they're physically able, mentally able, all these different things. But are you going to benefit from it? Is your family going to benefit from it? And benefiting from something doesn't necessarily mean financially. Are you going to be at home more with the kids? Are you going to get to enjoy your life more because you're not having to work horrendous hours for probably not a great wage? would you rather dictate your hours and dictate how much you earn? Don't get me wrong, starting a business and earning a great wage is two completely different things. Because there is a lot of, depending on the business, you might need to put money into it, you might need to get yourself a business loan to start up. There's all these different things. It depends what you're looking to do, but also you need to get the word out there. You need to get the customer, you need to get the client, you need to get a steady income going. And again, we can help with all that. We can help you see where you need to be. What do you need to do? Are you going to buy an established business? Are you going to buy into, so you're only a percentage of the owner? Are you starting from scratch? Is this something that is needed in your area or the area that you're looking to go and set up business? Listen, all these different things. But again, we're not just talking about business. If you want to apply for college or university because you want to go back into study, you want to retrain, we can help you get to that point as well, because maybe you've not applied for anything for a long time, and obviously you need to do personal statements and all these different things, so we can help you. And it's not about lying on your personal statement, you're telling the truth. How you word it is a completely different thing. Wording things should be the forefront of your mind, because if you word something correctly, or if you use words that you maybe wouldn't normally use or that people don't see a lot, then you maybe stand out a wee bit more. Anyway, enough of Aileen talks. What are we doing for the next week? Who's listening to Gossip with Friends on Saturday or watching it? Because Gossip with Friends will be both audio and visual. The reason for that is we record it on Zoom because Danielle's in one country and I'm in another. She's away living her best life in Turkey, and I am in Glasgow trying to find a house. But yes, so yeah, we record over Zoom, and then I put it up as both audio and visual. So visual's obviously on YouTube, audio is everywhere you can hear this. Then, what else am I doing? I don't know anymore. Just work. Need to get everything in place. Yeah. Dot the I's and cross the T's and all that malarkey. I'm just... Do you ever have one of the days where you do so much you've not stopped all day, but when you sit down and you look about and you're like, what have I actually done? That's probably the kind of day I've had today. I've not stopped, but I couldn't tell you what I've done. Well, I had to go and buy some new drawers for my son, but apart from that I could not tell you what I've done. But I know when I sat down to do this podcast was the first time I've sat down all day, and it's just one of those days. So if anybody does want to contact me for coaching, counselling, any hands-on therapies, anything like that, coaching and counselling can both be done in person or on Zoom. And again, it depends on where you are in the world, but it's available worldwide because we can do it over Zoom. So don't think because you're in America or you're in wherever, Sweden, or as long as you speak English, because I can barely speak English, let alone speak any other language. I mean, I know we did go through a couple of weeks ago where I was bilingual because I could say a couple of numbers in French and Spanish, and I don't even know I can say hello in German and goodbye, I think. But that's as good as my languages get. I could not hold a full conversation with you in your native tongue. You need to be able to speak English. I'm sorry for that, but listen, it is what it is. It's where we're at. But I will help you, and I will get you to where you want to be. And I do have a very high success rate. just not with talking any other languages. Just saying. But if you do want to contact me about booking in or about an initial consultation, which is absolutely free, you can either email the podcast, which is rebootyourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com, or you can message any of the pages, which again, Reboot Your Thoughts Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. There is X, and there is that blue one, Blue Sky, Blue Bird, Blue Butterfly, something like that. I don't know what it's called. There is that as well, and there's also Patreon. But we all know I'm not the best when it comes to social media, so if I was you, I would stick to Facebook, TikTok or Instagram for now, because I'm very, very busy and I forget. I'm useless because I'm always on the go, I'm always busy doing something. Social media is always the last thing I think of, but I need to get better at that, or else I need to employ somebody to do the social media for 10 million pages. Yes, so you can message me there, or you can email me at therebootsanctuary@gmail.com. So either way, get in touch. We can talk through things. Like I said, it can help you anywhere in the world, because we can do it over Zoom. If you've got a business just now though and you're struggling, we can help with that. Got business coaching. If you're struggling to keep employees, we can look into that. Is there a reason for it? Is there not? Listen, it's February. Time to get our heads down. Time to make this a good year for all of us. We all need to look out for each other. We all need to be mindful. We all need to make sure that we are being as positive as we can towards each other and ourselves. If you're being negative towards yourself, how can you expect anybody to be positive towards you? Because a lot of people feed off our emotions, how we are being, whether it's how we're being towards them or how we're being towards ourselves. So a lot of people will feed off that. Some people will try and help pick you up. Some people are quite happy to keep you down, because it's easier to control you when you're down. So if you're round about anybody like that, look at how you can change. Look at how you can make your life better. Again, if you want to talk about that, send me a message. But let's make 2025 a positive year for everybody. Let's all kind of help each other get the best out of this year that we possibly can, because what's the point in always just plodding along and maybe not being 100% happy? None of us are going to necessarily benefit from that, are we? I'd rather see somebody smile and succeed than just going with the flow because they don't want to ask for help or tell me how they're feeling. Come tell me how you're feeling. Let's work it together. What's the song I was going to sing? I'm not singing a song. I told you I'm not singing another one. I need to behave. I'll get myself into trouble from my son. He'll be sitting in that room going like that. I've warned you. You better stop that singing. I was singing and dancing in the car yesterday, and he wasn't impressed. He just rolls his eyes and goes like, I've told you. Sorry, boss. It's us. And then I just sing and dance again. I'm like, you've missed this, haven't you? And he's like, no, I really haven't. How no? It's great fun. We all need to sing and dance and have happy thoughts. I mean, I'm not this happy all the time. Don't you worry about that. I'm sure one day I'll come on. You're lucky I never recorded this the other day, because I was full of PMT the other day, and I don't think I liked anybody in the world. You could have been Mother Teresa and I would have still found a fault with you. When I'm in that mood, I avoid everybody, because I don't need anybody to be feeding off that emotion and feeling the wrath of my tongue. You just need to look at me the wrong way when I've got PMT sometimes, and I'm like, anyway, let's leave it at that, because I'm nice the rest of the time. It's only I'm nice 99.99% of the time. It's just that 0.01% that you need to be careful. You can usually tell by my face how my face is reacting normally lets you know whether it's safe to talk to me or not, but that's for another episode. Let's get everybody positive, let's get everybody living the life that they want to live. Let's all come together right now. That's not even the words, is it? I don't know, I made that up, I think. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you all get something from this episode. Kinda a little boost, a little kick up the bum that you might need, whatever it may be. And I'll maybe hear from some of you soon. Maybe all of you. I don't know. But for now, I am away because I am rambling, and I will speak to you all again soon. Take care. Bye bye.